Hi, David.
Okay, there you are.
Hiya.
Right, what I found out was this: when on February 1st, after was your midwife or you didn't want to go to the hospital doing a home birth, and there was complications with you losing a liter of blood, that was dangerous. And the fact that she didn't want to go and get a parking ticket, putting your life and the baby's safety over a parking ticket, is why they stepped in and they took the child.
Well, that was the midwife.
If the parking ticket was more important in your life or the baby's life, then they're saying there's something wrong here with your judgment.
No, that's it. David, you've misunderstood. The midwife that came to help, she did not want to go with Iolanda to the hospital because she was afraid of having a parking ticket on her car.
Yes. But she called social services or 911 to get you to the hospital.
I see.
So they're blaming you, or somebody's got their information. And this thing has accelerated by the doctors, the police officers, social services, all presuming different things. And so the judge says, well, we're just going to freeze everything till we straighten this out. They don't know who's guilty of what, and they want to find out if there was negligence on your part or negligence on the midwife's part, and why you weren't in the hospital in the first place. And they know you don't want to register the baby with the state, and so they're going to keep the baby to blackmail you to register the baby with the state. And that's basically what they're doing right now. Once they got possession, it's illegal for them to be in possession without the child being already registered. And there's a 45-day trust line, so they're probably going to run you right up to the 45 days and then schedule a hearing, plus a 3-day rescission timeline. All courts with the all British or English courts function on the same condition. I'm a New South Wales, Australia, New Zealand federal judge, and so I had to memorize the 900 codes. So I've been involved with, your British courts 130 times already.
Yes.
Maybe 145 times, I think it is. So, and they know that we're talking. So I guess you're just gonna. The baby was born on February 1st, so probably by March 15th you're gonna have the child back. That's 45 days.
There's something we're concerned about. They want to do psychological tests, and I'm afraid that they're going to label me as incapable of looking after.
No, you don't have to go through their psychological tests because you've been functioning your whole life without going into front of a psychiatrist or anything else. You've been a job, you've been driving a car, you're doing all the things you're supposed to do in society. And they're just trying to use that as an excuse because they can say anything they want in a psychological evaluation to steal the child.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you tell them flat out that you have a history of being a successful individual in society, and there is no cause for them for you to volunteer for because you're opening yourself up to an opinion, not a fact.
Yes.
Of a third party. And the more and more people you get involved, the more and more complicated this is going to become, where they go, well, we'll let this rest for a year before we give the kid back, or 2 years, or 3 years, or, once they can say anything they want and start stretching this time and running up a bill on you.
Yes.
Seeing how much money they can extort. You're going to take it to the press that they're stealing your child flat out, and they're practicing human trafficking, and you put that in the press, and it's going to be embarrassing for them. Because if they can take your child, they can take every child, and just like the Russians did, just like the Nazis did, like the Chinese did. And the North Koreans, they're setting up communists that you can charge them with being communists, that your child's been kidnapped by communists, that they want to put commune to babies.
Yes.
So they don't want that kind of press because the Queen's already got enough problems with everything that's going on. She's not actually a queen. She's an Eastern Star and postmaster.
Yes.
It's just Parliament runs the company. Or shall I say the corporation?
The corporation, yes.
So what does this mean? Is that we wait for the 15th of March?
So,
Well, no, they want you to volunteer for psychologists. You tell them flat out no.
yes, they are trying.
You have no business in my private life.
Yes, they are trying to do this. We understand they're trying to do this. They
You tell them flat out, you're not going to micromanage us. We haven't done anything wrong. We're not criminals. We want our child back, or we're going to sue you for kidnapping. You don't have a license to have that child. We haven't registered the child with the state. We're responsible for our child, period. Because they want to write a check for $1 million and put it in their bank, and so they're trying to kidnap the child for $1 million in their banking schemes.
yes.
It says, why aren't you going out and kidnapping every single one of the illegal immigrants that are flooding into the country? You don't go after their children. They're not registered with or any visitors from overseas that come here. You're not stealing their kids that aren't registered. Our child's not registered. Make an argument.
So,
And ask them for their oath of office with correct parsing, syntax, grammar. And ask them for their laws, rules, regulations, and codes to touch your child without your permission.
so David, I am a student of yours. I'm learning to syntax. I'm at the stage of structure of positional phrases and this thing, but I'm not an advanced student yet with it. So creating documents and papers isn't something I'm very good at, and I always go to Mark to do them with him.
Mark runs his stuff through me too. So
Yes. I couldn't confidently say that I can write my own documents. So
no, but Mark and I can, and I've already got cookie cutter programs for you that are free.
Okay, so how do I access them?
I just send them to you on an email.
Okay.
You just change the names and file it in court.
Okay. These.
I can send you Gail's case from New South Wales, Australia, which is under the Corporation Act 2001.
Okay.
And you can work with that.
Please do that. Please do. So you're saying just replace the names with the.
Technically, yeah, the same issue is there. They had all 8 of their children taken
Wow.
for a year, and they hired 3 different lawyers, spent over $100,000 in legal fees, in psychiatrics, and controlled visitation, and everything else. And I showed up there, and the kids were back home in 4 hours.
Well, David, our lawyers, our solicitors, they are.
They're making sure that the state gets custody of your children.
We know it.
They're not working for you. They work for the state.
We know it.
The state tells them, I want those kids, and I don't care what you got to do to those parents. You do it, so we get custody of the child, so we can control the situation.
So yes, we know this false. We know this. We know that they're working against us. Shall I sack them tomorrow?
Yeah, you ask them for their oath of office with the correct grammar and the laws, rules, regulations, and codes with correct grammar under the Federal Styles Manual, and they're gonna walk away from you. I'm working on an insurance case right now, and the third law firm just quit. Going, we can't even talk to you. We can't even answer the phone. We can't even admit we know you after 6 months.
This,
They're that afraid of being exposed.
I have a scan of your book. Now, have you got a template in there for the asking the solicitor for his oath of office?
No.
You don't.
Well, it's the cross-examination of public officials on the witness stand.
That's in your book, isn't it?
Yes. And those are the questions you ask him, as well as social services and the court, because they're not giving you closure for fraudulent conveyance of language to steal your child. And if you don't get the child back, you're going to publish it in England, in the newspaper, so that everybody in England knows how to sue attorneys and barristers and lawyers and judges for fraud, because they don't give closure. It comes under maritime law, Title 46 of Chapter 1, that the moving party is liable for closure. They have to advertise the meaning of a word. They have to advertise the volition of their sentence. They have to advertise the volition of their syntax. And they don't do that. It's all trickery. And so they do it behind closed doors. They won't allow recording. They won't allow videotaping. They do everything in secret because they're criminals. And they don't want to be found out or advertised and disqualified. Parliament's always been that since the Magna Carta was written 900 years ago.
Yes. The people that we have our child, they don't want to be recorded. They tell us each time, we don't want to be recorded. We don't consent.
You tell them we're going to record it because you're stealing our child and you're trying to hide from it. We're going to expose you and get you arrested for kidnapping.
Yes.
I don't care how long it takes. We're going to put you in prison for 30 years for kidnapping our child.
And you
get the kidnapping laws, and you download all the kidnapping laws off of Corporation Act 2001.
Corporation 2000. David.
That's equivalent to the United States codes.
The codes. Yes. This is a lot of information, David. I'm sorry, because I'm to comprehend all this. I will, if you won't mind, need your guidance. Can I have your?
That's fine. You call whenever. I hate it when people touch children. They took away my kids.
Yes,
And you don't think I don't keep kicking their ass for 36 years over that one little time? It isn't about. I don't take money from people that steal other children to get them back. I do that. That's one of the things I do pro bono, where I protect the people from these criminals. Because I know that a lot of people, when they realize their kid is gone forever, they can't get them back. They commit suicide. They go to jail. They go nuts. They go turn to drugs. And I got this one lady. She's had 5 of them taken out of the nursery, and she just keeps on making babies. That's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where she's a victim.
Yes.
I told her, I said, get the hell out of town. Move someplace else. I mean, why are you staying there when they're doing that to you?
Yes.
When I showed up in town to help those people, every police officer, sheriff, lawyer, attorney, and judge vacated the entire county for 3 days while I was there trying to find these people and call them and serve them papers for kidnapping. And 60 women who had their children taken out of the nursery showed up at my seminar, and then 1,580 women came forward that had their children taken over a 5-year period. This is an epidemic in our country. They stole 880 million babies out of the nursery. When I started digging down and opening up this can of worms, how many social services, sheriffs, police, lawyers, attorneys, and judges were involved with human trafficking in our country. This is a slave colony here. Yes. Make no mistake about it.
Are you helping anyone in the UK with this?
They're doing it in every country.
No, sorry. Are you helping anyone in the UK with this?
No, you're right now for children. I'm helping other people for mortgages and other issues.
Yes.
I've got Norway, I've got Romania, I've got Italy, I've got 200,000 Zulus in South Africa, I've got 1,200 tribes in New Zealand and 3,800 more Aborigines in Australia. I've got the Chinese, Hong Kong. I got my fingers in everywhere, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes.
I'm a worldwide organization with 5 billion people.
Amazing, amazing.
And, you can tell the judge, if you don't give your child back, David Miller's going to post this on his website, and 5 billion people in 150 languages are going to see that we're trafficking children here in London, and see how international trade is going to correspond with that.
Well, I want to do that, David.
How do we do that?
How do we do that?
Well, let's do one thing at a time.
Yes.
Just by simply telling them, look at David-Wynn Miller's website, look at how many people are reading and studying about the fraudulent grammar, and you guys don't have a law, rule, regulation, or code to touch my child, so give my child back.
Yes.
You're facing kidnapping charges.
Yes.
And I can take it to The Hague. I'm a UN member, and I have a contract with The Hague. And they can bring charges against England and sanctions against England for touching another person's child.
Well, I want...
I'm a very powerful person.
Yes.
So then we just...
I know Rothschild personally.
So then we do a letter saying to them, do that, give the baby back, otherwise we're going to expose these.
I'm going to expose their fraud.
So,
Alright.
How do you access the judge? What we understand is it's a family...
I don't have to access the judge. I just got to post it on my website, and everyone in the world is reading it. An ambassador, a parliament member is going to pick up the phone and say, what are you, crazy? You give the baby back and shut this thing down before it becomes a problem, and we've got every single every single baby that you've touched in England coming in here all at once and suing us. You could collapse an entire economy. I says England's already lost New Zealand and Australia and Canada and South Africa and their constitution in Ireland because they screwed around with me. I'm serious. You guys lost Ireland. They got their independence now.
Yes, I'm aware, yes. Amazing, good, great. Great what you've done.
So it isn't, this is not a game.
No. No, it's
They're going
not.
to stop stealing babies from people.
I just want to go like this.
Yeah, I know. But you're gonna kill flies on glass windows with 20-pound sledgehammers, and you're not gonna break the glass.
I know.
The word is control.
Yes. Yes.
So after that letter, what do we do then?
Well, you can take your computer with you, and you can call, or your cell phone, and call me on Skype, and I'll talk with the clerk or the court or anybody else that's there. Everybody knows who I am. I know my face. They watch my videos. I might be 12,000 miles away, but that doesn't mean I can't kick the shit out of them.
Do you know what, David?
So do we
No one ever went to war over a math problem in the history of mankind.
That's right.
And now that I have the mathematical certification that England's been lying to the public for 900 years, that disqualifies their banking concerns. What, to touch a child? They're gonna lose all their banking?
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't want to go there. They don't want to open that door up.
Well, David, do you know what I did when we went to court last Friday? I went to the usher of the court and asked him to give him this note, and it said, for the avoidance of perjury, please show me the correct rules, titles, laws in the correct sentence structure, passe, syntax, grammar. And he took it in there to the usher, and the solicitor, my solicitor, and the barrister and his assistant came running at me and saying, what did you just what did you just hand to him? And they got really frightened, and I took it back off them. Stupid mistake. I made a mistake, and I took it back off the usher. But I went back in the room with them, and the three of them, they attacked me. Their faces were red with anger. They were so frightened.
That's because you were correct, and you caught them in their bold-faced lie, and they knew they could go to prison.
Yes. They don't talk to me now. When I ring them, they don't answer the phone. When I email them, they don't answer questions, direct questions.
That's because they don't want to they don't want to have their conversation syntax by me, and then prove that they only have a second-grade reading level, lack knowledge, and lose their jobs because they don't have a oath of office and they don't have a charter to do what they're doing, to steal children.
Well, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send an email with the same note that I writ to the usher. I'm going to send it to him now. I'm going to do that now.
Good.
For the avoidance of perjury, show me the correct titles, rules and laws.
Regarding David, as soon as possible we have my baby, I want to go to my country and be with my parents in Portugal.
What country you're from?
Portugal.
Oh, Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugal's nice. You got some 100-foot surfing there, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, get on Bogabon website, and Portugal has the world's largest waves between 100 and 125 feet tall during those North Atlantic storms.
Amazing, aren't they?
And these crazy guys get up there and surf that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, they get
They get pulled in by helicopter or jet skis. They usually use helicopters, and they keep them on a 500-pound line, about a mile long. And then before the surf breaks and that, they lift them out of there so they don't get killed.
Yes.
So my question is, how do I take my baby to there without a passport, without registration? Because
you get a claim of life, and you apply for your passport with a claim of life.
There we go.
Say again,
We did it. The passport industry accepts our quantum claim of the lives. So it works.
Show him his claim of life, babe.
Yes, but
It's
do we show that in the airport?
No, to get your passport, we send them a scan. We scan our claim of life in the application.
No, you send them a real one.
A real one.
Yeah, make up 4 or 5 real ones.
Yeah.
Look what
With an autograph, you take the baby's footprint. Yeah, like that.
we
And
did.
that's what you send the passport people, because you're the legal parents that you want a passport so that you can go to Portugal where you were born.
Okay.
And you have a Portuguese passport.
And who is the authority? Do you know?
Who's the authority?
To send that paper to request a passport.
What? I don't understand. Who's
The passport people will send you a passport for the baby.
in Portugal or UK?
Because the baby's born in the UK, it's a United Kingdom's baby, and your birth rate is in Portugal. But once you get back to Portugal, you can register. The child's allowed 2 citizenships,
Yeah.
so you can travel back and forth. I think the reason the state is holding, one of the reasons is because you are a Portuguese and they don't want the baby going to Portugal.
Yeah.
Because then they would lose that $1 million banking on it.
Yeah.
But if you have a claim of the life, where are you from?
I'm from England.
Okay. Say so, because you're the father, the child has both an England and a Portuguese passport, or claim of the life. So you both should, are making claims of it.
Yeah. But do you know where to send the request of the passport in here in UK?
Well, the passport application. The passport.
It goes to the post office. The post office is responsible for the passports worldwide.
Yes. Well, would they accept this in a passport?
Oh, yeah. We just had Russell, my partner.
Yes.
Russell's baby was birthed at home, and they sent the claim of the life to the passport. And 10 days later, she's got a passport, and she's been to Mexico and Canada, and she travels everywhere on that passport with them.
Okay.
Great. So we can take this into a post office up the high street in the shops.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. And you mentioned to register in Portugal. So are you mentioning to register the baby in Portugal?
No, you can apply for a Portuguese passport as well.
Well,
Not-
okay. Yeah.
We don't want to
Because you're
register
a
now.
Portuguese and you're the mother.
Yeah.
You see, babies are child. C-H-I-L-D. A child is the issue of woman and the issue of state. A man is just a donor.
Okay.
So you have the final say over it. 96% of all babies born of woman stay with the woman no matter where she goes.
Okay.
And all countries abide by that except the Arabs.
Okay.
So does that put your mind at ease, babe?
Alright, so we do that later on. We request the baby, otherwise we threaten with David, and we see what happens, and that's it. Okay.
So do you think we should write to the judge?
Write him what?
That letter.
The threat?
No, it's not a threat.
No?
Educational material.
Yes. Sorry.
Or educational correspondence.
Yes. Yes. I understand.
Judge Miller would like to publish this case of stealing children with fictitious conveyance of language on the internet, where 5 billion people will read it, and question the morals of the British Crown, where they're saying our people have freedoms, but yet you steal babies. Because you two don't have any psychological or criminal past, so therefore why are you taking a healthy baby away from a healthy mother?
Well, David, I do...
And using fraudulent grammar to do it with.
David, I do have depression.
Well, don't talk about it. Keep your mouth shut.
Yes.
You're a happy-go-lucky guy, not depressed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Depression is caused, well, it's understandable when they take your child that it causes the depression, but you take L-tryptophan. If you have a depression attack, it's only because you have low blood sugar.
Yeah.
Take a half a teaspoon of sugar in a glass of warm water and drink it, and in 20 seconds you'll be normal. Sugar activates your L-tryptophan vitamin in the brain, and it's like morphine to your brain, and will make the depression disappear. Now, depression, I've got a 20-year background in psychology and philosophy. I was a college professor for 3 years, and I've been teaching. Now, when you have depression, that's because you're thinking about negativities.
Yes.
All right, carry around a multiplication table, sheet of paper, and or sine, cosine, tangent, trigonometry. And the minute you feel any kind of depression coming on, you pull out this mathematics, you start doing math problems. Now, what happens there is your left brain shuts down, your right brain starts working to solve a math problem. And whatever chemistry is generated through a depression will completely disappear in 5 seconds. And you'll be normal, because no one's ever gone to war over a math problem in the history of mankind, because math can be solved frontwards and backwards. So the mind does not look at that as being a challenging, it's just 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. It's syntax for the mind, like a computer. The computer doesn't have emotions. It's just looking for correctness. So when you start doing math problems and you know that you're doing it correct, one, you won't feel any depression. Your brain won't suffer any chemical reaction from depression. And even if you did this mentally, say 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 16 is 168, or 64, or,
So on.
2, 4, 6, 8.
Yes.
You start counting numbers, or you do the multiple of 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 1,028, 200, 2,048. Say, it's a mathematical procedure that will shut down your emotions completely. I mean, you can be having sex and start doing multiplication tables, and you're going to turn into a wimp in 3 seconds. Believe me, I know how to. I've counseled 129 married couples. I'm a marriage counselor. I have a
Well,
background in that.
thank you very much.
Did that for 10 years.
Well, in spite of what's happening, I'm keeping a positive mind all the time. I don't feel any.
We're running 45-day timelines on you, so you'll probably have the baby back by March 15th, which is 2 weeks from now. Okay?
Do we send to the judge, or do we send to who do we send that educational paper?
You're not going to, you flat out say, I am mentally alert, physically healthy, I've been working, taking care of my house, I drive a car, I have a beautiful home, I've been married. How many years have you been married now?
We are single. We didn't marry for 3 years.
No,
Okay.
we live together. We're
That's normal. Okay,
We love
live
each other.
together, we got married, we're being responsible, we're raising a family, you've got your jobs, you're a stay-at-home mom now because you got a baby. Why are you interfering with a normal family? Or are you using us as guinea pigs to go out and steal other children from other families? You know, you're trying to test us to see how much you can push us. Well, we're going to push back, and Judge Miller is going to put all this up on his website and tell the world that you're practicing genocide or apartheid against the citizens. You know, here in the States, you probably might have seen it on your news, where the police have been aggressive with shooting unarmed teenagers.
yes.
Or one man, he tried to escape from the police because they were abusing him and going to a hospital. He tasered him 47 times with 70,000 volts and it killed him.
Yes.
That is excessive torture.
Yes.
And so there's the city of St. Louis here in the United States is in a riot mode. So is Philadelphia. So is Chicago. I mean, the people are, tens of thousands of people are coming out to support these murders. They're unjust murders. And New York City, 7 cops, first they said, no, you're not guilty, and now they're prosecuting them and sentencing them to prison to stop the city from going into a meltdown and rioting. You know, in the United States, you remember Martin Luther King,
Yes.
or freedom, the black man?
Yes.
You know why the 1964 Civil Rights Act was passed in the United States after 100 years of discrimination after the Civil War?
No.
Martin Luther King got up on the podium and he said, you will pass the 1964 Civil Rights Act or 38 million blacks will start fires in every white home in America and burn America to the ground. Congress passed the Equal Rights Bill the next day.
Yes. Yes.
And they weren't kidding. And then even after that, when they continued to, even though the law was there and the people, the bigotry and the prejudice that was still there continued with the Ku Klux Klan in the South, and they started starting fires. In New Zealand, they brought in police to torture the Maoris, to steal their land. So the 23 gangs of New Zealand organized and told the British government, every time you beat up one of our people, we're going to cut off the hands and feet of your children. And that went on for 6 weeks, and dozens of children were maimed and had their hands and feet cut off. And then all the British that they brought in from South Africa to torture the Maoris left the country, and there hasn't been any incidents in 5 years. Everybody is treated with respect because they use machetes, and just like they did in Africa, we're going around and chopping off hands and feet, and that's called mayhem.
Yes.
And so Maoris, the New Zealand people have been real quiet. You're either going to have correct courts, or we're not going into your courts. Same thing in Australia. I have about 2,800 followers just on the eastern coast of Australia that are organized since I was there for 3 years.
Did you live there?
Yeah, I did. I went there on 12 different occasions for a month each time over a 3-year period. I traveled all around the country to all major cities, put on seminars, and taught the Aborigines, unified all 3,850 Aborigine tribes, wrote their constitution, saved their lands,
Wow.
taught them about the bankruptcy and how they were stealing lands and telling all the secrets of the crown, disqualifying the United Kingdom's constitution. I mean, I have the disqualified Canadian money, and they had to make new plastic money instead of paper money.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You know, I don't have any, there's no limits. You're talking to Pandora.
Yes. Yes.
The real Pandora.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just.
Destroyer of worlds. Of is an adverb, making world a verb. I destroyed the world of fiction.
You did.
And everybody that's playing in fiction is being destroyed by our technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're very privileged and honoured to talk to you, David. We thank you so much.
I'm an ordinary guy, you know.
You are an ordinary guy.
Best here, flannels. It's cold outside, so.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I'll let you guys go. Use that. Study the cross-examination of officers of the court.
Okay.
Because if you go to court, you can call the officer up who has your child and put him on the witness stand.
Yes.
And then show him his paperwork and say, did you write this? He's going to say yes. Is that your autograph? He's going to say yes. Did you go to law school? He's going to say yes. Did you study syntax? He's going to say yes. Did you give me closure to use fraudulent conveyance of language to steal my child? He's going to say no. Well, while engaged in criminal activity of false and misleading statements, fictitious conveyance of language, and deprivation of rights under coloring of law, you're guilty of perjury, false and misleading statements, and you have no business with my child. So therefore, my child's been kidnapped by you for profit.
Wow.
I want my child back.
Yes.
And he's now facing criminal charges because of his conduct. And because the judge didn't stop and correct it, he's facing charges. They'll probably both be disbarred.
What, you think I can do that? Or is this...
Well, it's all written out for you already. Just copy what I said. Rehearse it over and over again.
Yes. Yes.
Pretend your wife is the prosecutor and ask her questions, or you ask him questions, and just follow it so you hear it, you see it, you say it, and memorize the process.
Yes.
Why do you think those guys went crazy the minute you said, I want to be correct or you're guilty of perjury? They went nuts on you. That was only one sentence. There's 29 sentences there for you to ask them, to walk them into a confession. All right?
And
when they confess, they get fired and you get your kid back.
Does this have to occur in the courtroom?
It can occur in a courtroom. It can occur in their office. The point is, you're showing skill sets that they've never been exposed to before.
Yes.
And when you have a good skill set to show your intelligence beyond their wildest dreams of trickery, always take time to think about what they're saying to you. Don't be cocky, and don't use the word okay. Don't forget, if the judge or the attorney is talking to you and his lips are moving, he's lying to you.
Yes.
And if you got questions, your cell phone's got Skype on it. You can step out in the hallway, go to the bathroom, and Skype me. It works 24 hours a day.
Yes.
And say, hey, I got this question here. What do I say?
Thank you.
And you can call me.
Thank you, David.
I'll give you the answers that you need, all right?
Thank you.
There's no charge for any of this. You guys got my 36 years and 82,000 hours of experience at your fingertips.
Yes.
Take advantage of it.
We will.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right, Leon.
Thank
Oh.
you.
All right, let you guys go. I got some other things I got to get done here.
Just quickly, I don't remember us introducing Yolanda to you. I think we went straight into conversation.
It's Yolanda.
It's Yolanda.
Okay. I was going to call you Mrs. Edwards.
It's Yolanda.
Right, okay. Thank you very much.
Mrs. is a fiction.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, David. Bye for
Bye-bye.
now. Thank you.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.